The terrifying reason your bones carry the exact minerals Death Valley has been stealing from mountains for 3 million years. And in 2024, a lake that last existed when woolly mammoths walked North America came back overnight and began swallowing them again. Right now, a valley floor is eating a mountain range, and your body already knows how. Death Valley sounds like a graveyard. It is, but not for the reasons you think. It's the lowest point in North America, 282 feet below sea level, and it is getting lower, every year, measurably, silently. The mountains around it, the Panamint Range to the west, the Black Mountains to the east, they are not standing still. They are dissolving, breaking apart, and the valley is consuming them piece by piece. Calcium, magnesium, potassium. The exact minerals your heart uses to beat right now. Death Valley has been pulling those same elements out of solid rock for 3 million years. The lake is how it does it. 10,000 years ago, a lake 600 feet deep and 100 miles long sat exactly where Death Valley's salt flats are now. Lake Manly, fed by glacial meltwater during the last ice age, pooling in a sealed basin with no exit to the sea. Here's what that means. Water comes in, it never leaves. The mountains shed their minerals into streams. The streams feed the lake bakes under the sun, the water evaporates, but the minerals, they stay, concentrate. Crystallize into the salt flats you can see from space today. The mountains become the valley floor. This has happened multiple times. Geologists have found at least 9 distinct lake cycles buried in the sediment below Badwater Basin. 9 times this valley filled with water. 9 times it drank the mountains dry. 9 times it left behind a layer of compressed mineral history, the skeleton of a mountain range it already ate. But here's where it gets strange. In August of 2024, Tropical Storm Hillary dumped a year's worth of rain on Death Valley in 12 hours. The dry salt pan flooded overnight. A lake returned. Real water, spreading across 2,000 acres of valley floor. Scientists called it a once-in-a-generation event. They were wrong. Because while cameras captured tourists watching waves form on land that hadn't seen water since the Pleistocene, the valley floor did something nobody expected. It began to sink. The soft sediment compressed for centuries couldn't hold the returning weight. Cracks opened in the surface. The ancient lake bed remembered what it was built to do. It wasn't recovering from the flood, it was resuming. Death Valley sits inside something called the Basin and Range Province. Tectonic plates are literally pulling apart beneath you. The crust is stretching, thinning like taffy in slow motion. As it stretches, valleys drop and mountain ranges tilt upward. Death Valley is not the bottom of a bowl. It is an active geological wound. The valley floor isn't just receiving minerals from the mountains. The basin is pulling downward at roughly 2 millimeters per year. The Panamint Range, directly to the west, is rising at the same rate in the opposite direction. The two are locked in a slow-motion trade. The mountains give their mass to the valley, and the valley gives nothing back. Now add the lake. When water fills the basin, even briefly, it accelerates the process. Water is the delivery mechanism. Dissolves limestone and granite in the mountains. It carries those dissolved minerals down alluvial fans. It deposits them on the valley floor. Then it evaporates, leaving the minerals behind, leaving the mountains a fraction lighter than they were. Over 3 million years, the Black Mountains have lost an estimated 3,000 feet of elevation, not from wind, not from ice. From this valley pulling their substance downward through water, chemistry, and gravity. Death Valley doesn't just sit below the mountains. It is digesting them, and the minerals it strips out, they are chemically identical to the electrolytes already circulating in your blood. This matters beyond geology. The basin and range is still actively pulling apart. The valley floor will keep dropping. The mountains will keep shrinking. At current rates, in another 3 million years, the Panamint Range will be reduced to hills, and Death Valley will sit deeper than the floor of the Mediterranean Sea. But you won't be around for that. Here's what you will see. The next major storm event over Death Valley could trigger another lake return. The sediment is still soft. The basin is still sinking. Geologists monitoring ground deformation around Badwater have detected micro-subsidence events after every significant rainfall for the last decade. The valley is actively processing each water event, pulling itself lower, consuming more. The lake doesn't come and go. It is always working, even when you can't see it. Here's what no one has answered yet. Lake Manly's deepest sediment layers contain organic material from species that don't exist anywhere on Earth today. Microscopic organisms, preserved, alive in a dormant state, encased in mineral deposits for 10,000 years. When the 2024 floodwaters covered Badwater Basin, those sediment layers were disturbed. Some of those organisms may have activated. Scientists are still analyzing the samples. They haven't released the results.